Welcome to Y.E.S. What we used to call Promote Y.E.S and Y.E.S on Air is another thing. We are just here to show you a good time. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Devin, thank you for being here today and for willing to donate your arms to recording this right now. If you may point it, we have first over here, Pandutch with us. Very, very... I don't know. I was gonna say sly, but fly. I don't know what it's called. Yeah.
Not expecting that. I'll take it.
That's where we're right.
We were joking earlier that he was looking more like a James Bond villain in a way, but yeah. Tanner at the head camera over here, the Utah redneck that we have here.
So we're going back to that.
I guess so. And we also have Ryan, who we don't know what he's dressed up like. But
it's a mystery.
He's a mystery.
You can choose.
This is what celebrities do on award shows. So there's that.
You can choose what.
And then Devin, if you want to flip it to yourself for a moment.
What's up?
Yes. This is Devin, aka Pretzel, also coming to be known as Devin the Dev, and we will hopefully be promoting that a lot more in the near future. So happy. Guys, 2020 is over. How are you all feeling?
Like 2020 is over.
That's not dramatic at all.
Quite
well,
peachy.
There we go. Quite peachy.
Ryan's feeling peachy.
That's
good.
That he is. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
And funny enough, for an award show, we have to have like a little monologue going at the beginning. I didn't prepare anything per se. But I think that we can start off with that. We were talking earlier during the Christmas season, and we were saying, Ryan, you have all these words that people would accuse you of just being euphemisms. Please share these with us, because we made you write them down, because we want to know, is there actually a difference between all these words of the state of your condition, or emotionally, or physically?
So, do you
I don't
want
know.
me to start from
Worst to best. No, actually, let's do best to worst.
Best to worst.
Best to worst. That way we have a better idea of what really gets you going on a good way and the yes way, and then what absolutely makes you turned off, essentially.
So, the first two, I haven't gotten to. These are celestial and heavenly.
Very appropriate.
Now, to continue is peachy, super duper, super, fantastic, awesome, swell, not bad, great, fine, good, okay, meh, bad, terrible, horrible, freaking horrible. I removed the swear word for you guys. And go fuck yourself.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. One of the most saint-like people in Heber City, Utah, can go that far. I'm glad you were honest, at least.
I can also add the moments of sleep exhaustion. Do you want me to add that?
I think you should, because right now we really need more of Tanner's reactions. So let's go with that.
Okay. So, moments of sleep exhaustion. Me acting like I'm high.
All he wanted was mushrooms.
Yes, that is true.
I have video on my phone that is proof of that.
Now you got to be you got to clarify which mushrooms you're talking about.
Oh, just
He never did clarify in that video.
It was
so
just
I still
mushrooms
don't know.
in general, honestly.
Okay, if you say so.
Although he was calling them shrooms. So, if that's
That is
something to
true.
go off of.
As someone who lives in Heber City, Utah, I don't believe you should be using a word that sounds like that. When I moved here to Utah, my grandma did not approve of my flat-billed hats because she would say, Garrett, you look like a gangster. You shouldn't wear one of those. And I told my Grandma, do you see this face? You see this face that I have? No one's gonna believe I'm in a gang. I'm too happy. Anyway, keep going.
So, number one was me acting like I'm high. Second is speaking in gibberish and, well, yeah, that's just
That's just part of it, yeah.
pure gibberish. And not, third is not speaking much. And then last is non-coherent. I don't listen. I'm in my own world, and it's very hard for people to get my attention. So.
Understandable.
And I don't think he got all the way down there in the video footage.
No, it was, I think, just the first two. Right?
Yeah.
Interesting. You're holding out on us. Oh well, we'll have to just deal with that for a little bit. So anyway,
Well, I mean,
really,
we
really
can make him
tired
tired. We
to
can
get
make
the
him.
last two.
well, we need to keep you awake for the show,
Yeah.
and we need to make sure everything else
Maybe
is okay.
if we keep him awake for, I don't know, the next 48 hours, see where we're at.
They could do that.
Yeah.
Although you only need me to get like past 11:30
Yeah.
at night. Especially, I did an overnight at work, and so everything's just kind of loopy right now. The only reason I'm kind of awake is because I have multiple people here
Yeah.
in my place right now, so I'm a little bit more awake than normal.
You're at your most entertaining when you are.
Yes, this is true. By the way, is my tie on straight? I know my
Yes.
words are
Yeah,
in the way.
that's fine to me.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Right.
Just want to make sure. No, we did not get any. Wow, I am messing up on my words today. I have so many moments like that where I'm recording. You have no idea like how my editing process is like. I'm cutting that out again. I'm cutting that out again. I'm cutting that out again. So I apologize. As a host for an award show, I should be better. I should be able to articulate better. You know what I'm talking about, live stream. Anyway, that was just the excuse to do this to you. Anyway. I just wanted to say, like, there's a lot of things that I think we missed out on. Really, James Bond is one of those things. Interesting enough, there was actually a lot of ads for the new watches that they got. And as at least Tanner and Ryan know, and I think Devin and Aaron might know, I went through a watch phase this year. And
Are we sure that's really over yet, though?
well, I'm pretty sure after this and the silver one I got, that everything is coming to a close. I mean, when you have 8 watches and you kind of like them, you should take back a little bit. But we shall see. Maybe I'll go back to hats or t-shirts or shoes or something like that. But anyway, I just wanted to say, like, I'm excited for other award shows that are coming up. We'll see how those actually play out because so much other stuff got delayed. I'm just citing James Bond as one of those examples. I just bought a watch that is Grammy certified, and so I'm really happy about that. I'm interested to see what is going to go on with that. And I'm actually reviewing all 8 albums. I've reviewed 7 of the 8 just now. To be able to talk about which ones I think are the ones that deserve a spot on there. And then I'm going to make a little video about which album deserves to win. And I'm going to make it after the Grammys happen. We're going to call it, well, we'll figure it out. It's going to call it Grammys Right or Wrong, something like that. We're going to discuss that. And it is my opinion, but I think I have a very good opinion, so deal with it. Anyway, so we are going to talk about some things that we believe should have been highlighted for the year of 2020. Some things were great, some things were not. And we're going to try to talk about the highlights, but we'll see if we can mention a couple of blunders. I'm not sure if you guys maybe have a couple in mind. And to start it off, I'm actually going to pass it to Aaron because he's the one who mentioned a couple of things that he thought should have been highlights, and I'm sure that we can all have a little discussion on those.
Sure. So, for the first segment, I'm going to just talk about the couple video game things that I thought were noteworthy, and then a little bit later, we'll get to the anime stuff. But, so, we'll start with the game that I think should win for best community game is Animal Crossing. And I didn't personally play it, but I got to witness a lot of friends and family and the video game community as a whole just come together during COVID and just share in Animal Crossing. They get to visit each other's islands, trade certain items, and I thought it was just really nice and wholesome and just a great bonding experience in a place where you could kind of visit people when in a time where you couldn't visit people. And it's just there were other games that I thought about that could have been, like one of them was like Fall Guys, and another one was the Among Us. Those are other games that I kind of considered, but especially for the time, I felt that it was just, that was the game for this year to come out, and that brought people together as a community.
Well, I don't really have a leg in this. I don't play games as often, although I would like to get back into it, but more in like, a setting like this, more community. I don't want to be at home just playing games by myself. I don't find that very entertaining anymore. Unless it's retro games. So, we got
it's
that.
like I would say it's like for me personally, I'm very much a couch co-op person. Like I love just being in the same room with people and playing games with them. Like online, I do a little bit, but not enough. But in the future, I might start to consider that a little bit more. But
I know Tanner plays video games at night. I don't know if you play Animal Crossing.
I don't. I play GTA 5 online.
Oh,
Okay.
that's like
I'm
the
probably the nicest person who plays that.
just obeying all the street rules as you're driving.
I don't do that. Unless I'm really bored.
That's true.
That's the very boring way to play GTA 5.
Did you play Animal
Instead,
Crossing,
I just
Devin?
spend a bunch of money on things, and I never have any money in the game because I'm always buying cars and whatnot.
What about you, Devin? You play Animal Crossing before? Or this year?
Yeah. Let's see. When I was working at Amazon, we were actually packing a lot of those when they first got released. I could remember, I think in like one tote. And for some people that have never been inside of a Amazon warehouse, you get like these yellow totes that come down and they have like all these items, and you just gotta scan them, pack them in. I had one tote that probably had like maybe 50 Animal Crossing games in it.
Wow.
And had to pack each individual one. So I thought, well, let's check this out. Had good ratings on it, so yeah, I tried it out. It was actually pretty nice. I like the soundtrack on it, and
That
it's-
always makes a video game better.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's definitely just much more of a chill type of game, and like Aaron said, you can virtually visit your friends, and especially during last year when a lot of places were just like kind of just on lockdown. It was a good alternative for people to kind of see each other.
Good to know. Yeah, the only reason I know that Animal Crossing existed, I mean, my brother, I think my brother played Animal Crossing at one point. I know he played other games, but I think he might have played that one. But the only reason I knew that this one came out was because Chris Stuckman made a review of it. He actually did quite a few video game reviews this year, which I always will watch anyway. He made a very good recommendation on not 2020, but 2019's Spider-Man game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he made a really good review on that one. It was just like, you played that. I remember watching you play that. That was really fun. Yeah.
Dude, it was so... bring it back here. So fun! And then they just released the Spider-Man Miles Morales edition. I'm currently on that right now. I'm just about done with the story mode.
Oh.
Okay.
Nice. Very nice.
Really good.
All right, so we talked about that. What's another one that you
So
wanted
my
to mention?
second, and this is like the end for the video game stuff, but so as far as video game related stuff, the worst product launch has to go to the PlayStation 5. As far as worst.
Okay.
All right.
Do explain,
Elaborate.
please.
Okay, so I mean,
Yes, do explain, because I like PlayStation.
I love PlayStation. Like the first console my dad got us was an original PlayStation. And it's not to say that the Xbox like Series X and Series S wasn't bad. Like that product launch was terrible as well. Like they were like sold out within a minute and everything online. But the thing that really made the PlayStation 5 just awful was the fact that they announced the day that it was supposed to go on sale. And then I think Walmart, shame on Walmart, that Walmart I think was the first retailer to announce it. Like, hey, why would we make you wait till the actual day that they announced? Let's just launch it now. And so people just flocked, and then all other retailers followed suit, and basically everyone who thought it was going to launch on the day that it was supposed to launch was kind of lucked out, because that's just... And I mean, aside from PlayStation site itself, and like trying to get it in between every time between then has just been a nightmare for anyone. I mean, except maybe the people using bots, but we don't count those people.
Somebody's in trouble.
But yeah, they honestly have low stock in general. I think much lower than like the Xbox Series X and S. So it's kind of in a stranglehold. So hopefully more units will be released this year. I think they just announced that they are ceasing production on the PlayStation 4s, and so that they're gonna start. So hopefully that means they'll be able to get manufacturing into a higher amount for the PlayStation 5s.
All right. Cool. Now that's something, I'm just going to make this as a personal highlight. So during most people's quarantines, Tanner can attest to this, one of the things that got me through the year was watching a lot of movies at home and a lot of TV shows that I haven't watched in a while. And one that I finally watched from beginning to end, and this is going to lead into a highlight of the year that I really want to get to, and I know Aaron knows this also, is I finally watched season 1 to season 6, all episodes of Community. That just really struck home for me. I've watched Community a lot, but never from beginning to end, and I finally did it this year. It was wonderful. Abed was back in my life. Joe McHale is hilarious. And we got that very special, what do you call it, that reading that they did online?
Table read, like the cast reunion / table read.
Cast reading of some kind.
Yeah.
That was awesome. And the guy from The Mandalorian, what's his name again?
Is it
Pablo
Pedro Pascal?
Pedro Pascal. He was part of it, and he had the best moment on there because he had like a laughter outburst that came out of there in a moment where if it were anybody else, because he's not technically part of the main cast, and maybe he's reading it for the first time.
I think he was.
Yeah, and it just made him burst out laughing. It was like the greatest thing ever. I smiled so big watching that, and that's an episode that I like, but it's not one of my personal standouts. But because that's the one they read, now it's like, okay, now that episode has much more significance to me. Oh, it was wonderful. Well, I'm being alerted that we have to take a quick fake commercial break, and we're going to get to a couple more awards and other highlights. So let's go ahead and wrap that up, and we will see you back in just 1 second. Dramatic music intro from that break. It was very short. Welcome back. Anyhow, all right. So we've got other topics I know that we could all get into. But does anybody have a highlight they want to mention before I get into mine? Oh, actually, so let's vote real quick because I'm curious. Should we end on the high note or on the sour note that might be a high note? We want to do the top 10 yes moments, yes artists, or the top no artists first? We want to make fun of the no's first, or do we want to go with the highs and be like, all right, I can see that. Like, which one do you think would be better climax? End with no's or end with yeses?
I mean, I like ending with... That's me personally. I like ending on like a good note.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, this is what I liked. That's just me though.
Okay, so one for ending with yes. Devin, Ryan.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And on yes.
End on yes? Okay, we will end on yes. So, that changes the music that I want to use next, so we'll just get to that. So I'm going to go over the top 10 no's of 2020. Now again, this is my opinion, but I'm very strong about this, and maybe we can have a little discussion about this. And, yes guys, please feel free to interrupt me if you strongly disagree with any of these moments. I doubt that you will, but we'll see. So,
I'll interrupt and be like, this is heresy!
Yes, that could work just easily. Alright. Let's see. I am going to go with Yeah, I'm going to go with Baba. All right, here we go. So let's get into the top 10 no's of 2020. These are individuals or groups that are just realmed around the entertainment industry. Keep that in mind. We're not going over moments, just singular moments. Or, well, there may be moments, but they have to have an individual, not just moments in history that happen. So let's get to it. All right, ladies and gents in the internet. First thing I want to say no to, and this is like a serious no and a sarcastic no at the same time. Tiger King. Everyone on the internet admits this is a guilty pleasure. I don't get this. It's a really messed up thing. Look, I'm sure that there's entertainment quality to this, but everyone says, this is a weird thing that's happening. It's we don't know what to do with, Karen, she's a bad girl. I'm I think the Tiger King's kind of messed up too, okay? So I'm just going to put that out there. I think Tiger King deserves to be in the top no's of the year, okay? So I'm just going to put it out there. Maybe you disagree, but I'm only keeping it at number 10 because it may have some entertainment quality, despite the fact that everyone on the internet admits this is a guilty pleasure show. That doesn't mean it's pure entertainment. Deep down, you know it's a little cynical and messed up. So, number 10.
I agree.
I didn't even watch it.
I didn't watch it. I agree.
Okay.
Something from the chats.
Yes.
Andrew Kemp
Yes.
says Tiger King is just more true crime.
I love you, Kemp. You're a good guy. All right. Number 9. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. They have abandoned the royal family. This is basically Britain's royalty of the Kardashians that are choosing to try and not be Kardashians, but despite their best efforts, are still celebrities because they keep doing weird things or they keep making statements that just don't make sense. And it seems like they just don't know. Well, I know Meghan Markle was royalty by marriage, but now both of them are together, and it's just this is just going to be one of those celebrity couples that are saying, we are abandoning royalty to be more like one of you. And yet everything that I've seen in the news so far says that you don't really know how to not need these things. It kind of, maybe people are going to give you stuff. Maybe people will give you free reservations on restaurants. Maybe you'll collaborate with other people. You'll make your way with money, but it's not as easy as before. I don't know. Does anybody have a problem with me mentioning that one? I don't feel like anyone was really maybe expecting that one.
There's just very little about it, so just that happened.
It's like what Jim Gaffigan says. It's just if you're talking about British royalty, that's Burger King, not McDonald's. Okay, so we got them at number 9. Number 8, Kathleen Kennedy continues to make Star Wars bad. Thank heavens for Jon Favreau, who's trying to make The Mandalorian good and everything else. Kathleen Kennedy, I feel, and whoever she has in her team makes everything somewhat more divisive. I don't know how everyone here feels about the Star Wars sequel trilogy. I saw The Last Jedi with Devin. I remember Devin not liking that movie when we went out of the theater. I was in that moment of just wanting it to be good when they all came together, but then I realized that wasn't necessarily the case, because a good movie should stand out on its own. And there's just so much coming out of, Twitter and other ways of social media that are saying, things aren't really all that good. And there are rumors, these are not confirmed yet that I'm aware of, but they actually had to make sure Kathleen Kennedy was not on the set of Mandalorian. Now again, this is something that is rumored to be true. And maybe it's not written in stone, maybe it's just a verbal agreement. I don't know. But she's making Star Wars, or she has made Star Wars, gonna do that again, a little divisive since Disney took over. So I'm just including her here because things continue to escalate a little bit problematically. It's just stuff in the news.
We're probably not missing that.
Geeks and gamers talk about her a lot, and I've followed a lot of their opinions, and I find a lot of them truthful.
Maybe I'll see her in the behind the scenes or whatever.
Something like that. Okay, number 7. The entire Hollywood cast that did that incredibly stupid, I don't know what you call it, live stream compilation of singing John Lennon's Imagine. Do you guys remember that when that happened earlier in this year?
I don't think I even saw that.
Yeah, you know the song Imagine by John Lennon?
Yeah.
So, like, it was like Gal Gadot and a bunch of other celebrities that were doing stuff. Like, I liked a lot of these celebrities in here, but I have so many issues with the song Imagine. And they were doing it during, like, the pandemic time, and it seems like they're trying to make sure everything's, like, world peace kind of stuff. I found it very stupid and very just like non-realistic. A lot of people called out celebrities this year because they were saying like, this is awful, and everyone's like, you don't have anything to complain about. You all live in mansions and things like this. And yeah, that's just a moment where I'm just like, so this isn't really a specific person. This is kind of more of a moment, but it includes a lot of people that got together and thought this is a really good idea, and we're going to give hope to people through this really crappy song. My opinion, anyway. Okay, let's go. Ooh, now things start getting really interesting. Number 6, Kyrie Irving from the Brooklyn Nets. Now, I don't know how many of you guys are actually following basketball or not. I follow basketball quite a bit. Kyrie Irving made a lot of weird comments this year. I've got a list here. I've got to make sure I read these off correctly. He made a comment in, I think, a podcast of some kind that he's saying, like, he and his team don't really think they need a coach, which I think is really dumb. Kyrie is a smart guy, but he is not the smartest guy always in the room. More often than not, he's probably not. He also made comments about saying he should start his own league because he feels like he's disrespected or the players are disrespected a lot. I didn't get that comment either. He was trying to convince others to not go to the NBA bubble in Orlando when the NBA was trying to get back and trying to have their actual championship take place. That was also kind of weird. He took a no media fine. So he was saying he's not going to talk to the media, and there's obligations that take place for athletes when they want to do that. And yeah, so that took place. So he's just been doing a lot of really, really messed up things. And ever since he and Kevin Durant got there, they've been kind of messing up the Brooklyn Nets culture since they got there. So a lot of weird things, and it's just not been good. The one thing I can say is Brooklyn got a really cool floor for their stadium this year. So that part I'm interested in with the Brooklyn Nets. Let me make sure. Oop, I am moving the computer without trying to. Doing that again. All right, number 5. Dwayne Haskins from the Washington football team, formerly known as the Redskins. Now, Tanner follows football probably the most in this room.
Which is it?
Maybe. Dwayne Haskins was drafted 2 years ago to be quarterback of that team. And as you know, a lot of sports have been having very strict rules about, trying to keep players healthy and things like that. Dwayne Haskins, one, hasn't been playing that well. He's had a lot of interceptions take place this year. And he got benched, actually, at one point because he wasn't performing very well. And he actually got released from the team. So they fired him. He was on his second year in the football team. They fired him because he wasn't taking care of his health precautions. And they found out about that because someone took a picture of him in a strip club. Yeah. So he broke some protocols. He was not looking out for the team, and he was just doing a bunch of that. Not much else I can say about that. Okay, number 4, Bella Thorne. Bella Thorne gets a spot on the no list because she was defending a new format to try and basically defend OnlyFans. If you guys know what OnlyFans is. Mostly associated with pornographic-oriented things. Trying to figure out ways to be able to not let the site get hijacked and that people need to get a better percentage of it. It got into a really weird and complicated, and I guess we can technically call it immoral line. It was just kind of something weird I noticed, and I'm just like, it needs to be on this list. Number 3 is a tie for Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion for making this song WAP. I'm just going to stare at the camera right now for a little bit and try and explain to you. This is a really bad idea. This was a number one song for all the wrong reasons. I mean, even the wrong reasons are not even good enough to be able to, like, justify this. This is an awful song, guys. Oh my gosh. Anybody hear this on the radio?
Original. I think I've heard mashups of it, and I was just like, okay, I understand the regular, like, because it's usually just the lyrics that they're mashing up, and it's usually the beat of another song. I'm like, okay. I was like, if I didn't have the backing that this has, I probably wouldn't listen to this.
Yeah. Well, anyway, putting the most on there. Well, also, Megan Thee Stallion, this was a Cardi B song that had Megan Thee Stallion, but I'm also giving them equal credit because Megan Thee Stallion's album was my number one least favorite album of the year. So I'm putting extra pressure on this situation. So we got that there. Number 2, Torrey Lanes. Now, Torrey Lanes apparently released 2 albums this year. Last year, I gave his album Chicks Tape 5 a no, and I did not review either of his albums that came out this year. Apparently, they were not received well. But it's not because of that. It's because he actually was driving with Cardi B in their car, and they had a kerfuffle with police or something like that, and he had some firearms, and he shot Cardi B's foot. And Cardi B tried to call him out on it, and now they're in an argument kerfuffle. Now, again, if it was just the albums, Torrey Lanes would have been probably nowhere near the top of the list here. But he shot Cardi B. Not that I care that much about Cardi B, but you shot a woman in the foot, dude. You shot her.
What was his argument? She's like, you shot me in the foot. He's like, no, I didn't.
Something like that. It was not a... Whoop, wrong. We gotta keep the song going. Messing up in the production here. We're getting used to this. All right. And number 1, everyone in the Netflix team and the production team that worked on the movie Cuties.
Yeah.
That was messed up. And a lot of people actually canceled their Netflix subscriptions because of that movie. I believe I read in an article in the New York Post saying that subscriptions went down 800% just because of that movie. Now, I did listen to some people who said that, they were actually trying to promote how negative that actually was, but in a way they were glorifying the child, not necessarily, I guess it's child pornography kind of thing, aspects to it. It was it didn't work out well, and Netflix kind of defended themselves, and they really should have just admitted that they were wrong. Yeah. Just too on the edge, not good. So kind of messed up. And that's why that gets my number 1 spot for worst no moment of the year. Any thoughts from the rest of you guys? You shot Cardi B in the foot, dude. Oh man, that's...
To me, just when they released Cuties, I'm just like, what was Netflix thinking?
I don't think they were. I think entertainment is selling their souls away to try and appease a very minute portion of the brainless community. I don't know. I do genuinely think that that the director may have tried to be doing a good thing, but didn't know how to do it right. And again, this is still maybe. I'm really not that sympathetic toward it still. But but it sounds like all you guys know about it.
I mean, I heard about it. I didn't. That was I read a little blog post about the whole Netflix thing issue with everyone was having with it, and that was about the extent I read of it. I was just like, okay. But yeah, never showed up on my watch list. So.
Yeah. Well, me neither. I didn't need to.
Oh, you don't have that place.
That's true.
Well, that definitely didn't show my watch list.
I know what he watches.
We're gonna bleep that.
This is gonna be a long.
Scandalous. Ryan, you've been awfully quiet recently. You have any thoughts on the list that I provided just there? No.
All peachy.
All peachy. Okay.
Which we learned.
Would you rather
earlier
watch
is very
Tiger
good.
King instead?
Hasn't really been on the bucket list.
All right.
And I'm probably not really missing out, huh?
I wouldn't think so. But yeah, that's just my bit. So we're going to take one more commercial break. We're going to go and talk about a couple other moments that we liked. And then we will finally get into the best yes moments / people / celebrities / entertainers of 2020. So let's go ahead and wrap down to the next one. I've always wanted to do this.
Might as well do it. With
Yeah, just play with the bow tie just for fun, yeah? All right, so welcome back from another fake commercial. Thank you. We will get to some of those. And remember, this video is not brought to you by The Office.
We just like it.
We just really like it. Dundies. Remember, this is an award show. We'll have our own awards soon enough. But a Dundee will have to suffice for right now. There you go. Live stream. Here you are.
And tell them which one.
This is the Show Me the Money Award. Seriously, show me the money. I want to get money off of YouTube at this point.
Special shout out to FYE in the Provo Town Center Mall where he found that.
Very true. And I'm surprised I haven't taken it out of the box. I'm not one of those people. Aaron, one of those things, when we were visiting your house, the giant head figures.
Oh, Pops.
Yes. I
Oh,
don't know why I can
Funko
never
Yeah.
remember that. Because I mean, that's what you do with them, right? It's
It's kind of like a collect. Like I don't have a ton.
I know.
Most of mine are gifts from people. And I'm just like, I guess okay. Because the thing is, like with gifts, I don't re-gift and I don't get rid of gifts.
Mhm.
Like I just keep them because I remember who gave them to me, and
Mhm.
it's just the sentimental value. And so, yeah, if you give me something, I will keep it forever, even if it's begrudging.
Well, I feel
So-
that way about a couple of things. Most of that time is usually a tie. It's not an ugly tie. It's just not a flashy or interesting tie. But it's funny because the way that you reacted is the exact same way that my dad gifts me socks. My dad's really into, what's it called, stance socks. Now, I like stance socks, but my dad loves stance socks. And it's like 2 or 3 times a year, he always asks me, Garrett, do you like stance socks? I'm like, Dad, do you realize this is like the 10th time you asked me the same question? Just like, you're just checking if my my evolutionary taste has changed at all? I don't know. But I love you, Dad. Just wanted to let you know
I
that.
was about to say, is he watching it right now?
Most likely not. Most likely not. He doesn't really watch a lot of these, which is fine.
It's almost like he's talking to you as if like he still wants validation that you still like stance socks. And stance socks are still cool.
I mean, I like stance socks. I like them. I just don't care about them as much as he does. That's really what it comes down to. Shout out to Tracy out there for also being Tanner's sock guy, because we'll have to have him on the show sometime soon.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty. Right before we give out the top 10 Yes Awards, I want to talk to all you guys about some highlights. Aaron, since you're the most prepared, we'll go to you first. We're going to make this kind of fast, but we'll
Yeah.
do what you need to explain
All right.
what we got.
So, obviously, anime is a format, not a genre, and so I just picked a couple genres from it. So my nomination for best action anime is Burn the Witch, which was written by the same creator as Bleach. And there was only 3 episodes because that's as far as they got in the manga, and they were like, yeah, let's just make the anime up to where it is. And it is fantastic. Like I think the great thing about the way they adapt whatever he's written is they keep very much the style that he did in the manga, and they very much did that with Burn the Witch, and it's a very, I'm trying to figure out how to kind of like give a, it's kind of like a mix between with like Harry Potter, but has more dragons. So kind of
More
imagine
dragons.
that. Yeah, so it's like Harry Potter but with more dragons.
Are these like longer episodes?
No, they're actually like 20-minute. I think it was like a movie, but they cut it into 3 20-minute episodes. And so.
But they're like full of good
Yeah,
stuff.
it's good. It's basically a very. It's like it's basically those 3 episodes are kind of like an intro, like into the series, because like I said, it's as far as they've gotten in the manga. But so if you haven't watched that one, definitely recommend that one.
Okay.
And then my nomination, second and last nomination, it was for Best Romantic Comedy, and that definitely goes to Kaguya-sama Love is War Season 2. I didn't know how, I was very excited for Season 2, but I didn't know if they were going to match up to Season 1, because Season 1 was so good, but I think Season 2 is even funnier than Season 1, and I didn't think that was possible, and there was a lot of unexpected like character growth as well, and it got really deep, which I did not expect. Like they got like a little bit deep in the first season, but they got like really deep into like some character stuff and some like a little bit like more complicated social issues just between people. Like I can't explain it without going too far into it.
Right.
But if you haven't seen Kaguya-sama in general, and if you haven't watched Season 2 yet, you definitely have to, because you're going to be laughing in a good chunk of time, and you're going to be going aw, and you're going to be going wow all at the same time. It's got pretty much everything in that anime, and so
I may have to ask my brother if he's watched that. He watches more anime than I do, which I'm very surprised about. But again, I only have access to certain things, so yeah, we got that. I want to turn it to Ryan now. Ryan, you got a couple of highlights you mentioned?
Yes. So I got 2. They're both in like movies. So one is Tanner. He introduced me to Stranger Things, and that was absolutely excellent. I am very excited for the next season to come out, hopefully sometime this year. And then number 2, this has probably been one that Tanner and even some of my family members and friends have been wanting me to get into, and well, because I never have understood the references until last year, until I was introduced. And this is Star Wars. And well, since Tanner and Garrett both introduced me to Star Wars, I have started to actually understand some of the quotes they use once in a while with Star Wars, and I love it.
All right.
Our uncultured slang is slowly getting cultured.
And he says that with the utmost love.
Yes.
Very
Yes,
much
I do.
so. This is true. Thanks for sharing that. Devin,
Yeah,
let's turn
you're
it to you.
Let's see here. Well, my business has been growing pretty well. As far as growth goes, about like 5 times
Yeah.
as much as compared to last year. So
One heck of a year.
We actually had a meeting today, just like going over everything, and we're pretty blessed of even though it's a pandemic, we've seen some great good in it, and we're also glad with the team that we have. So it's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Great yes moment for the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. Good for you.
Good for me.
All right, let's switch it over to Tanner real quick. He's got a
Alright.
couple of things that he wants to share.
I have 3 shout-outs for this year. First off, to the writers of the NBC show Superstore. The season premiere for this year was pretty much all about COVID and how it is for retail employees and stuff. I felt that. Like, that was spot on everything. Like, down to the toilet paper people, to the Karens. It was fantastic. Yeah. And then for my second one, shout out to Tim Montana and Matt Bess. They're country music artists. They made a song called Quarantine that was absolutely hilarious. I loved it. It was one of the funniest songs.
You showed that to us,
And I did play that for you guys, yes. It was one of the funniest songs.
It was pretty good.
And my final one, to my favorite country artist, Brantley Gilbert. He put out 2 singles this year. One called Hard Days, and another one called Old Friends. Hard Days is a very good song for this year. It was kind of a comfort song for everyone who's had a hard time for 2020. And Old Friends was a song about a man on his crew who passed away while they were on the road. And it made me feel things. So those are my 3 shout-outs for 2020.
And Tanner, he was very proud of me when I finally started listening to Brantley Gilbert.
I was ecstatic.
We were so happy.
Garrett was there, he would know.
Yes. I'll admit, I've got a spot for Brantley Gilbert. I've to listen to more, but I see the appeal, very much so. I see that. Well, guys, thanks for sharing that. That was very good. And now, I'm going to provide my top 10 YES celebrities / entertainers of 2020, and just mention the highlights that they have, things that I thought were beyond great. Now, that doesn't mean that these people are perfect always. It just means that they had a very successful year, and I think I should recognize those moments. So let me find a song that will suit the mood, or as Sebastian would say, da mood. And so let's get to that. And again, if you guys want to get your 2 cents on in any of these, because I think you guys may have some ties to a couple of these in here, so feel free to let me know what you think. There's definitely at least one in here I know Tanner's going to be very interested in.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see what happens when we get there. Where is that
I'm
song?
intrigued now.
Here we
Yeah,
go.
same.
All right, number 10. Let's go. Gotta get the music on. All right, starting the list off with number 10, I'm gonna give a highlight to Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey, thank you. You're kind of a kook these days, in some good ways and in some bad ways, but you playing Dr. Robotnik in, did I say that right? Robotnik, sorry. For Sonic the Hedgehog was awesome. It was great. Now, I know everyone who is in gaming or geeks or whatever you want to call it had serious concerns with going to see Sonic the Hedgehog. But when you finally made those editions, I thought, okay, they put in the work, I'm going to go see this movie. And I actually think I like the movie pretty good. But I loved Jim Carrey in that role. I thought, he needs to be recognized because people miss this kind of zany Jim Carrey. I think he knows that. I mean, I'm glad that he did other roles before that, but we really missed this. So I've got him at number 10 on this list.
I agree.
Number 9, I'm going to give a shout out to Chris Stuckman. Chris Stuckman had the really hard task of trying to do additional movie reviews. And maybe a lot of you out there maybe don't care about movie reviews on YouTube. I mean, like, I do music reviews and I don't care about other people's music reviews. But no, I do it because someone has to. And I think, I don't know, I'm just saying, like, I think I'm doing an okay job at it. But for movie reviews, Chris Stuckman does the best. And the fact that there weren't as many movies to review this year and he still was doing it. And he made, I think it's 6 Hilariosity reviews that were pretty amazing. I think he deserves some recognition, and I think he did a good job. I just think that a YouTuber like that, and someone who's trying to get into the game of making movies, producing, directing, all that stuff, he's got a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that he did this year, and I think he deserves a spot to be recognized. Number 8. I don't even know the name of this person, but in the NBA All-Star Game, well, not the All-Star Game, actually. It's the Celebrity All-Star Game. Stephen A. Smith was selected to be the coach of the celebrity team. If you ever watch Stephen A. Smith, like, he's pretty entertaining. He's also kind of obnoxious at the same time. And I think... oh, hold on. Sorry. Music's getting down. And he became the first celebrity coach to get a technical foul because he was talking back to the refs too much. It was just gold. It was wonderful. And Stephen A. Smith the whole time just like, wah, why would you do this? Like, oh my, it was hilarious. But again, I'm probably the only one who's really into basketball probably here. But I'll show you guys the moment later. I just thought it was hilarious. Okay. Number 7. This is probably unexpected. You'd think that I would make a highlight for Christopher Nolan or David Washington from the movie Tenet, but I'm actually going to highlight Ludwig Göransson, who made the music for that movie. The music I thought was awesome. Pretty gnarly. I know some people who said when they finally were able to go to theaters, and some were sitting in the front row, and they're like blasted away by this music. And I'm just like, whoa, what a bass. And I saw the movie twice in theaters, just now trying to get a different idea of what it was like, and that music indeed was pretty awesome. I thought it suited the movie well. Mixed feelings on the movie as a whole, but, I mean, still enjoyable, for me anyway. But the music, that's the part that really got me. I thought that part was really good. Number 6, I'm going to give Timbaland and Swizz Beatz for creating the show Versus. They select 2 artists who basically are kind of were around the same era or kind of were similar, and so let's show how these two would like try to beat each other out or compete against each other or just try to figure out who has better accolades, who did more this, who did better that. It was a pretty entertaining concept, and I think that they did a pretty good job of bringing it during a time where people were like, oh, well, we need something in music to entertain us. This one worked out pretty well. Number 5. I'm going to also do another music person, Dua Lipa. Dua Lipa released a lot of different but great music for the realm of pop. I actually thought pop music was slightly better this year than the year before. Again, my opinion, but it's funny because her album didn't even make my top 10 for this year. But despite that, I recognize its giant iconicness, and I think it deserves it. It's going to be on definitely the high road for being considered album of the year. It might win it. We'll see what I think about the debate for that. Does it deserve it for its iconicness? There's a good chance it might deserve it for that alone. But I have 1 or 2 other albums that I think might deserve it better. But her album, being the only album released in this year, got the most, if I'm finding it correctly, was the highest sold album of this year. That came out this year. There were other albums that were released late in 2019 that maybe got higher sales, but this year they got that. Number 4, I'm going to give a shout out to Shingakix for winning the Red Bull BC1. I did not know that we were going to actually have a Red Bull BC1 this year until a little bit later. And I met up with Tanner and Devin to be able to watch that. Shingakix brought out all the stops. He had the most energy, and that was only his second time competing in that competition before. He did a tremendous job and is one of the only few B-boys who actually won additional competitions this year, given probably there were less opportunities for some other people out there, so that probably works in his favor. Japan made it work somehow. But yeah, he did a good job. Let's see. Number 3. This one's definitely going to shock you. It's in the realm of football, but is not a football player. I'm giving the number 3 spot to Andy Reid, the coach of the Kansas City Chiefs. Everyone in the realm of football seems to really like Andy Reid. Here in Utah, he was, an assistant coach for BYU, I think, at one point, who had a really great year. And yeah, just been working in the NFL trying to get it accomplished and got really close several times, and he finally got a Super Bowl winning team this year. Number 2 is in basketball. No, it is not LeBron James. This is Jimmy Butler, the guy who was in the team for the runner-up team. Jimmy Butler finally proved to all of his haters, or to everyone at least in the media, saying this guy is complicated. He's a guy who needs to try, like, he's toxic or something like that. It was a weird narrative. I never bought into that. He finally meshed well with the Heat, and he proved that he's there to play basketball. Something that a lot of people are not really doing all that well right now. And so I think that he deserves a recognition on this spot. He's a baller, so therefore he deserves that. And number 1, John Krasinski. Yes, Jim from The Office. Why would I do that? Because he made the show some good news. Just trying to be a positive influence on YouTube and just trying to showcase good things can still happen. And that he was trying to get other people involved, basically creating a mini Office reunion, highlighting a bunch of other things, giving people some great opportunities, providing proms, trying to get other people opportunities just in this difficult time through 2020. I think he did the most good from a celebrity perspective without, doing additional like donations or things like that. He just brought something entertainment value-wise to the world, and I think he did a good job. John Krasinski, you get the number 1 spot here. And let's pause for a fake commercial break and then just wrap up. Alright guys, so that is the end of the Yes Awards. We will try to figure out how to make this slightly better for the next year, but we're going to have plenty of new categories. But I'm glad I got to share it with you guys here and with you, the audience. Whoever is out there, I don't know who you are, but I love you. Thank you for watching. I was trying to cover up. I feel like I almost insulted you. Anyway. Yeah, thanks for sticking around, guys. We will get this part figured out. So remember, we're going to discover, promote, and review much more in the coming future. We're going to bring a couple of new things coming in 2021. I have some new ideas. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to take some time, but we're going to do it. So cheers to you guys. Get that yes in your life. We'll see you next time.